Welcome to Breaking Ice and Building Bridges from Possibilities. I'm Kelly Johnson.
And I'm Byron Jackson. Glad you're here.
Connecting a community through conversation.
We're back. It's Breaking Ice. It's Building Bridges. I'm Jasmine.
I'm Santiago.
And we're here to have some great conversations with some great people. I'm going to have you introduce yourselves, starting over at my right.
My name is Dana. I'm on the board with Possibilities, and I'm getting involved more in the podcasting area, getting reached out. So this is my first time ever doing a podcast, so it's kind of exciting.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad you're here today. And we have
Elizabeth Chaffel, and I've been with Possibilities since 2017, I believe, all kinds of areas, but I'm loving this new podcast thing, but I am all about community. I'm all about raising awareness of community. And number one thing is just bringing life to people and loving them to life.
And we are so glad to have you back, by the way. She does have a wonderful show called Loving You to Life. If you haven't checked it out, go listen now. And today, I looked at the blocks we use for our lovely workshops that discuss different values. And today, the blocks told me we're going to talk about commitment. Uh-oh. I'm so excited.
All right.
We're going to talk about what that means to everybody, what that means when you see that in other people, and how we can bring commitment into our everyday lives and share that with the community. Who are we going to start with today, Santiago? I'm going to let you pick today.
Okay, well, we'll just come right back around with Elizabeth.
I knew it.
Set an example for me.
All right. Commitment. With me being a minister, pastor, and all those good things, that's kind of very important for me. Not in the sense that you owe me anything, because I don't believe that's a stereotype thing. But for me to say commitment is basically something in your heart that you choose. And the key word is choose to do, because if you don't choose to commit, to hold on to something, it will perish. It will go away. It will decrease. It will not happen. That's in anything that you do in life. If I commit to ride a bike, I know I'm going to fall a little bit, but eventually I'm going to get it right. So commitment is a trial and error thing, but you don't give up. And I love commitment. I commit every day. These 4 walls in here is a commitment for me. But with that, it's all about where your heart stands. It's where commitment means different to everybody. But for me, it's mean don't give up. And you continue wherever that path you on, you stay on it.
I love it. I love it. And I really appreciate the mutual sharing of commitment when I think about the church or other places of communion. We're not just being there for ourselves, we're being there for each other. And I think that's such a special thing. Absolutely.
Yes. And I just love it. And in this, especially in this season, in this time, commitment to people is big, because there's so many different diversities of things. And when you're making a judgment call, which you shouldn't, you're just supposed to love them where they are. And that's the thing. If I can love you where you are, that's a commitment beyond anybody's understanding. I don't care what you're doing. I still have that commitment in my heart. I'm just going to love you where you are. That kicks out all of that judgment. That kicks all of that misunderstanding out, because I am who I am, you who you are. You bring value to me, I bring value to you.
It's beautiful. And as we all slowly turn.
It's me. So commitment to me is showing up. It's making a choice to show up and continue to show up through good, bad, ugly, indifferent, both boring and exciting, right? Choosing to show up for people, show up for your family, show up for your job. That's how I view commitment. And I don't necessarily put a huge value on it, because everybody is their self and they're going to make their own choices. And what works for me is not necessarily going to work for someone else. And so for me personally, I'm going to I have a saying, don't look for yourself in others, right? Don't expect yourself from other people. So just because you're going to show up every time you say you're going to be there, then you're going to be there, right? If you're like, hey, I'm going to support you through this, you're supporting through them, right? So that's what commitment is to me, basically, is just making sure that you show up every time, whether that be mentally, physically, emotionally, however you can for the people in your life or the responsibilities, your children, your family, your friends. That if you make a commitment to be somewhere, be in someone's life, or just make a choice on your own, you may not even make a commitment to them, a commitment to yourself, right? Like I'm going to, as simple as eat better. I'm not going to drink soda for a week, right? That's a small commitment, but it is something that some people, struggle with. But outside of that, you're like, hey, I'm going to make a commitment to take 3 deep breaths before I talk to my kids, right? If I'm upset, I'm going to take 3 breaths before I speak to them. And that's a commitment you make to yourself. And it's very important to show up and check yourself and remind yourself and other people too. So commitment looks different to everybody. But to me, a brief definition is just to show up in whatever way you're choosing, whatever path you're taking. Just show up.
And that's all we can ask for. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you. Santiago, what's your take on commitment?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this perspective, one through podcasting, but also through music. And so one thing that we get to be a awesome part of is that we get to help community members have their own podcasts. And the amount of time and effort it takes to do that thing, it is a commitment. You want to maybe set aside some time. You want to acknowledge that like this is going to take a bit of energy. At the same time, whenever you start doing it, you really get to enjoy it. And so the commitment sort of, it makes you want to show up. And then in the process of showing up, you don't really like feel as forced anymore. And so that's the nice other side of commitment. Maybe it seems like commitment is a lot of work, but actually in the process of doing it, it makes it much more enjoyable. And then it doesn't feel as much like a commitment necessarily. And it feels more like just getting to enjoy the thing that you're doing. And so then with music also is that I did make a decision, a commitment for my life to do music as one of the most important parts of my life. And we do live in a society, as the kids say, and it's a very difficult thing to try and live as a creative person, as a musical person. And so that commitment becomes very real in every time that I'm making something and trying to get it heard and trying to put myself out there and be understood. And so that's a sort of bigger long-term commitment. But like I said already, the process of doing it is so enjoyable that while I'm in the middle of it, it doesn't feel as much like oh man, I have to do this thing, but I really want to.
I love it. I love that.
Doing it for the sake of doing it. That just made me think about a story my uncle had shared, Scott Keaton. He is a guitarist here in Oklahoma City, and he would always say, back when I was a youngin' and going on my first tour with no money, we would eat saltine crackers with ketchup and maybe some hot sauce if we were lucky. Santiago, I'm glad you're not in a van eating crackers and hot sauce, but I certainly see the fire and the drive in musicianship between all of us. I like to consider myself a part-time musician, but I love that you shared that.
As an aside, I didn't know that Scott Keaton was your uncle. I did guitar lessons with him at ACM for a little bit. So
fun guy. He actually has a show tonight at VZD's. I'm tossing a coin if I'm going to go harass him or not. And be like, I go Scott. But For me, commitment lately has really been committing to taking better care of myself. We were recently gifted a walking treadmill in my shoebox of an apartment. And while it has been a blessing, it has also been a stark reminder that I get to choose when and how I can commit to myself. And that comes with more responsibility than I like to admit, because I'll walk by and my partner will be using it. I'll walk by and my cats are sitting on it. And I'm like, well, by golly gee, I guess I better take care of myself and get on it. And boy, howdy, I woke up from a power nap today and I chose to get on it. One small win. Commitment.
Hey, one step. That's all.
One step at a time. Yep. If it's 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes, it's something.
That's right.
In this instance in particular, it is a more than one step.
Yes.
It's many steps.
It is great. And I love it because I have a little app and I pretend I'm a hobbit walking through the Shire on my way to Mordor, and it counts my steps and I can live my best little fantasy life walking on it.
That's awesome.
Have a main character moment. It's great.
It's interesting to show up, right? Just for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you're going to do. You're like, I want to get better at taking care of yourself or drawing or art or whatever. And just spending any amount of time that you're toward that goal is forward momentum, right? And it is a commitment to make a choice. And if that commitment today looks like 5 minutes and then tomorrow looks like 45 minutes because you drank too much espresso, then tomorrow it's 45 minutes. I have a iced coffee filled just time to mop the whole house. I don't even have tile floors in half the rooms, but I'm like, I'm going to scrub something, bucket of water, like walls, whatever, right? When the moment hits you. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, where's the housekeeper? And that's me. I'm the housekeeper. Like, nobody, why does it look like this? Oh, that's right. Because you got real hopped up on caffeine one day and did a real good job. Then now it's a little messy. But yeah, just whatever it takes, that's good. We have a treadmill and I used it for a few weeks and it's been folded up for quite some time now. Just hanging out in a room that nobody goes in. So it doesn't shame me every time I walk by. It's good to be out in public, like in sight, because right, out of sight, out of mind. And maybe I should move into the living room.
Yeah, it's always the little reminders. I have 2 cats and they will literally just sit on it and stare at me. And I'm like, you mock me.
They're like, look, Mom,
I can do it.
Yeah. Turn it on. We want to go for a walk.
And they do, crazily enough. They love, yeah, that's funny. Something else that I have been thinking about a lot, even with walking or just doing the little things, and really ties in well to commitment, is consistency. A lot of us have talked about being in the act of consistently committing to things, making an effort to at least dive in when we can and pour what we can. Let's talk about challenging consistencies.
Well, I got a good one because I'm in one today and I got to report one today. And for some, it might not be a biggie. For me, it's gigantic. Like I said, I've been with Possibilities for many years. But when I started Possibilities, I was quite at the edge of 500 pounds. Thyroids went haywire. Everything went hard. Anything that was wrong, could be wrong with your body, was wrong with my body. And to the point where a couple times I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm still here. So I've been on this weight loss journey for the last 2 years or so, because I'm up for some surgery coming up real soon. And good surgery, nothing bad. It's real good. Really good. Hallelujah. Thank you. All right. Anyway, so to be in that place of being, to continue on to do what we're supposed to do. Oh, man, I look at chocolate cake. I look at donuts. I look at soda. And I literally don't want it. I don't want it because I have made a commitment for myself that I have to be healthier and do whatever I need to do coming up in my future. That's the main thing on my heart, in my mind. And when I went to the doctor today, which right before here, I went to the doctor today and I just screamed because I've never been under 350 pounds. Never. And I'm way under 350 pounds. I'm like, you go. Yes. She said, do your dance. I said, I'm doing my dance. And y'all don't care what y'all say. Big girl on the move. I'm just going to do this. But it just, even inspires me more. When you make them commitments, like we're talking about, the reward, it may not see it just right there on that yesterday or that month or now, but if we continue to go forth, there will be a good end result in what you're doing. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. Me is a weight loss journey for me, and I'm on this journey to complete. I'm not going to give in, even if I happen to perish tomorrow. At least I know I didn't quit on myself, So that commitment part is very vital. My yes be yes and my no be no. And I'm learning it. That was not something that I always had the ability to do, I was, when you really, like you're a musician and you playing your guitar and you're like, you're never going to make it and I'm never going to get there. No, that's your dream. And even if you don't make them up there in making those multi-billion-dollar record deals and concerts, you still know you lived your dream. You still know that you lived out, you eventually get that floor clean, with the mafia.
You'll get there.
And you got on a treadmill, even though it looked at him, but that temptation was like, I'm going to get on this thing. Are you all right? You ready? Okay, wait a minute. Let me have some coffee first. Or same for me. It took me a minute, but when I had made the decision to say, I'm going to do this, I walk every day for at least 30 minutes. I make sure I don't feel comfortable if I don't do it because I have some more goals and missions in mind to stay healthy as long as I can at the age that I am. So I'm like, no, I got this. And so I was excited today. It was like I'm going, what did that say again? She said, look at it again. I said, did that say what it just said? She said, yeah, I did. So it just, I dropped a tear. I really did.
That's an accomplishment.
Because I have never, I'm going to say about 20 years. It's been a long time. And I'm like, wow, I did that. So I can do some more. Y'all just went, wait. Y'all like, there she go right there. So.
And I think the most wonderful part is like you've proved it to yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
You showed yourself.
And it's a lot of time you don't have personal support. You do not have it. And so that you have to think about what's valuable to you. That's why you can't judge people because you don't know their story. You don't know what happened or the deals. And I've heard people say, well, you just need to stop eating this, that, and the other. I'm like, that ain't even my issue. As a matter of fact, I had to learn to eat because I wasn't eating enough. And I'm like, that's not my issue. But people presume because they see a shape or something or whatever they want to presume that you are or are not. So it's your own dream. You got to walk it out. And I'm walking mine.
Yeah. You're doing a great job. That's awesome. That's an accomplishment. And that's where you're showing up for yourself. That's back to commitment, making a commitment and showing up for yourself, even if nobody else shows up with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Yes. I am invigorated. This has been a lovely conversation. I'm inspired equally by all three of you. I'm going to get my saxophone out this weekend. I'm going to walk more on that treadmill. And I'm going to make my boyfriend do the dishes.
Get that house cleaning started.
Yes, ma'am. Well, everybody, this has been a fantastic kickoff to the weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Elizabeth, we got to work on another episode.
Absolutely.
Ms. Dana, I am thrilled. If you choose to start a podcast with us, we are happy to have you.
Thanks.
And thank you again for being here.
Yeah, of course.
This has been Breaking Ice, Building Bridges, and peace out.
Bye. Peace out.
Connecting a community through conversation.
Breaking Ice, Building Bridges is the Possibilities community podcast platform. Thanks for tuning in.